Welcome back to EtherLink AI Insights. I'm Alex, and today we're diving into something that's reshaping how enterprises actually do AI in 2026. We're talking about AI workflows and orchestration, and honestly, the story here is about as far from sci-fi as it gets. Sam, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Alex. And you're right. This is where the rubber meets the road. Everyone's been obsessed with autonomous agents for the past couple of years, but what we're seeing now in places like Rotterdam is a fundamental pivot. Organizations are realizing that intelligent workflows with human checkpoints actually deliver the business value that autonomous hype promised but never delivered.
So let's dig into that pivot. The autonomous agent narrative was everywhere. Remember all those headlines? But the data tells a different story, doesn't it?
Dramatically different. McKinsey's 2026 implementation review is pretty damning. 63% of enterprises with autonomous agent initiatives failed to reach production maturity. Meanwhile, workflow orchestrated solutions hit 89% production success rates. That's not a small gap, that's a chasm. The reason is simple. Autonomous agents operate under uncertainty with minimal human intervention, which works great for a narrow, low-stakes task. But in enterprise environments, you need accountability, you need traceability, you need governance.
Right, and that's where orchestrated workflows come in. They're operating under explicit human-defined rules and checkpoints. Can you walk us through what that actually looks like in practice?
Absolutely. Look at Rotterdam's logistics sector. This is a perfect case study. You could theoretically deploy an autonomous agent to manage supply chain decisions end-to-end. Sounds efficient, right? But if something goes wrong, you've got a black box. You can't explain the decision. You can't audit it. You might violate compliance rules without even knowing it. Instead, leading organizations there are building orchestrated workflows where AI makes recommendations. Those recommendations flow through approval gates, compliance checks, and then human decision-makers sign off. It's slower than pure automation, but they're getting 34% reduction in processing time and 100% auditability. That's the trade-off that actually works.
That's a really compelling example. So the shift isn't away from AI, it's toward AI that operates within guardrails. And that brings us to governance. The EU AI Act didn't just create a compliance headache, it actually reframed how smart organizations think about governance.
Exactly. And here's the thing that really separates winners from the rest. Some organizations treat governance as a checkbox. We need to comply, so let's check the box and move on. That's Tier 1 thinking, and 62% of organizations are still there. But the data is clear. Governance as a strategic advantage creates a massive competitive moat.
Walk us through those tiers, because I think listeners will recognize their own organization in one of these.
So Tier 1 is ad hoc, scattered AI initiatives, minimal documentation, reactive compliance. You're fighting fires constantly. Tier 2 is managed. You've got centralized governance boards, risk assessment frameworks, audit trails in place. 28% of organizations are here, and they report 2.1x faster deployment cycles and 47% higher stakeholder confidence. But then there's Tier 3, optimized, integrated governance, continuous monitoring, predictive risk management. Only 10% of organizations operate at this level, but they're reporting 3.4x ROI improvement and genuine first-mover advantages in regulated industries.
So the Tier 3 organizations, the ones treating governance as strategic, are getting better results faster. That's counterintuitive to a lot of people, isn't it? People assume governance slows you down.
Completely counterintuitive, but it's because once you've invested in governance infrastructure, you actually have clarity. You know what's happening. You can move fast, with confidence. You're not second-guessing every deployment. You're not discovering compliance issues 6 months in. You're predicting risks before they happen. That infrastructure costs upfront, but the payoff is exponential.
Let's talk about the broader context here. We've got pragmatism replacing hype, governance becoming strategic. What's the third narrative that's reshaping enterprise AI?
Embedded intelligence. This is about AI that's integrated deeply into existing business processes, not bolted on as an afterthought. The organizations winning right now aren't building separate AI initiatives. They're asking, where does intelligence add value in our existing workflows? And then they're embedding it there. Recommendation engines in procurement, anomaly detection in financial operations, intelligent routing in logistics. It's less sexy than autonomous agents, but it's where the real business impact is.
And I imagine that embedding philosophy ties directly back to those orchestration frameworks you mentioned earlier?
Precisely. Because when you're embedding intelligence into existing processes, you're not replacing humans, you're augmenting them. AI makes recommendations. Humans make decisions. The workflow orchestrates the conversation between them. That's sustainable. That's defensible. That's enterprise-grade AI.
So if someone's listening and thinking, okay, my organization needs to move in this direction, what's the first practical step they should take?
Audit where you are on that maturity model. Are you Tier 1, scattered and reactive? Tier 2, managed but siloed? Or Tier 3, genuinely integrated? That self-assessment is foundational. Then, identify one high-impact business process where AI could add real value, something measurable, something with clear stakeholders. Don't try to transform everything at once. Build a proof-of-concept orchestrated workflow with proper governance guardrails baked in from day one. That early win builds organizational muscle for scaling.
Start small, but start smart, with governance in mind from the beginning. I think that's the key insight here. We've moved past the era where you could just experiment with AI in isolation. Now governance and pragmatism are part of the foundation.
Absolutely. And honestly, that's good news. It means organizations that were intimidated by the autonomous agent hype, thinking they needed to build AGI-grade systems, can actually move forward. You don't need that. You need intelligent orchestration, clear governance, and human-in-the-loop decision-making. That's achievable. That's profitable. That's 2026.
Sam, thanks for unpacking this. For anyone wanting to dive deeper into the specific frameworks, maturity models, and implementation playbooks for Rotterdam enterprises, the full article is available on etherlink.ai. You'll find concrete guidance on EU AI Act compliance, governance structures, and real-world workflow examples from shipping, logistics, energy, and financial services. That's etherlink.ai. Thanks for listening to EtherLink AI Insights.